Okay, everyone, we're back with turn 12 of our Liberty or Death from GMT Games walkthrough. Last turn I was all excited because the French finally got above the 16 level so they can jump in the war, and I thought we'd have that this turn, but I forgot that they're ineligible, so they can't actually play their Treaty of Alliance card this turn. We have to wait until they're eligible, so it's sad. So we're just going to have a regular turn here with the British and Native Americans being eligible. And there's a lot of cubes on the board right now, so let's see what the British are going to do. The event we're going to pull here is this one. You'll see there's swords under the first three, which means that they will not do this event. So even if they're in line and they like this event, they're not going to do it. So we can skip the event for everybody here because it's just not going to happen. Our next event is William Pitt, which is great. We'll worry about him later. Right now, let's worry about this, which we don't have to worry about the event at all. And it looks like the Native Americans go first. So, Native Americans, we can't do the event, so support 1d6 greater than opposition. Support is 2 greater than opposition right now, so if we roll, and we rolled a 2. So, yep, it is, well, actually, no, it's tied. It doesn't say greater than or equal to. So, I think we go to raid. Ooh, that's a new thing. So, raid is going to take us, and we're going to have to do a little rules looking up here. So, I'm going to pause the video and come back after I know exactly what to do, so you're not sitting here watching me stare at a rule book. I'll be back in just a few seconds. Actually, I'm an idiot because I read this wrong. Support plus 1d6 is greater than opposition. Support is already greater than opposition without a die roll. I was reading it backwards. So the answer to that is yes. So when we don't raid, we're going to go down here. And gather would place 2+ villages. And we place villages wherever there are 3+ war parties. So yes, it could, because we have 3 war parties there, we have 3 war parties here, we have 3 war parties down in Florida, so we can add a bunch of villages. So we are going to gather. And gather for the Native Americans is they get to do, remember, the first space free, and then every, as long as it's an Indian reserve, and then every other one after that costs a resource. So so we're gonna do it, and it says first with leader. So the first free one they're gonna do is they're gonna take these 3 guys out in the northwest because they have Brant in there, and they're gonna move them to available and take a village and put a village out here, and that is free. And then next they have 3 in the southwest and 3 in Florida. So where does it say to do it then? It says villages, place villages where room and 3+ war parties. First, the Indian leader. So what's the other? So let's look at gather on here. Actually, place 1 war party or place 2 of the village. It says 3 on here, so that might be an NPC rule that it's 3+ war parties. So we'll go with what the flowchart says. But so what does it say? It says replace with 2 of the village. So we have to pick one. It doesn't give us any hints as to which one we should pick, so I think we'll just go with random. So we'll do odd is southwest, even is Florida. Roll a d6, it's odd. So in the southwest, we'll get rid of some 3 of those and put a village down. And that cost 1 Indian resource, so they're down to 0, so they can't do anymore. So their gather action, I believe, is over. Because they got to place villages first, so that was their whole action. So then they get to go on the warpath. So it says if Indian resources are equal to 0, trade if possible. So trading is possible. and the trade, they trade with the British. So the British roll 1d6, and if the roll is less than British resources, offer to transfer half up, rounded up. So let's roll, because they're definitely, the British have 5, so 2. So half rounded up is 2. 1, oh no, would be 1, sorry. It's one of those days. So they transfer 1 to the Indians, and that is, they get 1 and then +1. Oh no, it's just the 1. They only get the +1 if they get nothing. So so they transfer 1, and they have to activate a war party in a province with a village. So we'll transfer 1, so the British go down to 4, the Indians go up to 1, and the only place we have war parties and villages are here, so we'll activate, in Florida, we'll activate 1 war party. And that's it for the Native Americans in turn 12. So Native Americans did a command and special activity, and the British are going to do the same thing. They're going to do a event or limited command. We know they're not going to do the event because they have the sword under their thing. And NPCs don't do limited commands. They do full commands and special activities. So it's all detailed on their flowchart. We know they're not doing an event. Their resources are greater than 0. 10 plus Brit regulars, yes there are, but the rebels don't control any cities anymore, so all the cities are under British control. And available British regulars are greater than 1d6. There are 7 of them now. After winter quarters, we put 6 more in, and then the 1 from casualties, so we have 7. So the answer to that question is yes, so they're going to muster. And to muster, they get to place 6. If you can believe that, they get to place in any one city not blockaded. They get to place 6 regulars in one city or adjacent territory. So, and first they want to do wherever they get the most control. So, first this costs them some resources. So let's lower their resources down. And we're going to look up here where they can get some control in New Jersey or New York by adding 6. They can't go into New Hampshire because it's not adjacent to Boston. 6 would not get them Massachusetts, so they're not going to put any in Massachusetts. They already have control there. So the only ones they don't have control of that are next to a city or adjacent are New York, New Jersey, and then down here we have South Carolina and North Carolina. And all of those are South Carolina, North Carolina, and New York are all population 2. New Jersey's population 1, so we can take New Jersey out of the equation. And I think they would want, instead of taking from uncontrolled to British control, they would probably prefer to take Patriot control and switch it over. So we're going to take all 6 and put them in New York. So New York is aiming for a fight here. So we have 6 regulars now in New York. And that turns control here to British control. And then, on top of that, they also get to place up to 4. They also get to place up to 4 Tories in 4 different spaces. So actually, that didn't cost them. What cost them is placing Tories. They're going to place all 4, which is going to take them all the way down to 0. And doing the Tories has some rules to it, as you would expect. It's first, place Tories first where regulars are the only British cubes. Within that, first where regulars were just placed. So that's not there, because there is a Tory up in there too. Let's see. I'm looking at the wrong thing. First where regulars are the only British cubes. Oh, where regulars are the only British cubes. So, yeah, so we have to look for places where regulars are. So I think we're going to get a Tory in Philadelphia and in Savannah, because there are only regulars there. So let's take some available Tories. We'll put one in Savannah, one in Philadelphia. And then it says first, then in colonies with less than 5 British cubes and no British fort. So, with less than 5 cubes and no British fort. So, let's go with, we already did Philadelphia and Savannah. Oh, Norfolk, I didn't see Norfolk. So, Norfolk's gonna get a cube. And the only other one here I can see that has less than, it's either gonna be New York or Quebec City. Charlestown as well, but so the thing I'm looking at though is that New York has a 2 population, so I'm guessing that we'll go with the higher population, which is what we usually do. So that would be our 4 Tories. We have one in New York, one in Norfolk, one in Savannah, and where was our 4th one played? I don't remember. It's too much stuff to remember. I'll go back and watch and figure it out. But for now, it was Philadelphia, I think, had one place. So we had New York, Philadelphia, Savannah, and somewhere else. I'll go figure it out. Don't worry about it. If I screwed it up, I'll fix it at the beginning of the next turn. Okay? So I'm good. That was the British turn, though. Actually, no. After they muster, then they still get to do a special activity, which they're going to skirmish. So, in the space not selected for battle or muster, Norwich Garrison, first in West Indies, which there are none. Remove as many rebel cubes as possible. First favorite type is least in the space, removing 1 British regular if necessary. So, wherever they didn't muster, and wherever there are cubes. So they mustered in New York, so we're not going to do New York, but in Virginia they could, but they can't, I don't know if they could take out they can only take out cubes, and the only place I have a cube is, in Massachusetts, so they are not going to be able to remove a rebel piece. So they can't do that, so they're going to do, instead of skirmish, they're going to do naval pressure, which if FNI is 0, add 1 to 3 British resources, which is a lot simpler. We like simple, and they rolled a 1, so, which is good for us, because we don't want them to have too much fun, right? So they should be at 1 right now, actually. They were at 4. They dropped all 4 to get to 0, and now they're at 1, so, whew. Boy, those British, man, their turns are a pain in the ass. So that's where we stand. Right now, the French and Patriots are going to be eligible next turn, which means the French are coming into the war. Unless I pull a Winter Quarters card here, but I don't think that's possible. So our next event is going to be William Pitt. We'll worry about him in a second. Alright, the next turn, turn 13, we see Morgan's Rifles is our next event after that. So that was turn 12. Things are looking even bleaker. It was looking kind of cool there in New York and Massachusetts, but not no more, it ain't, as they say. So anyway, that's where we're at. Thanks for watching. We'll be back with turn 13.